Hi there, and welcome to the first episode of Content with Character. Needless to say, I am just a tad bit excited for you to be here, so I hope that you'll get nice and cozy with me for a couple of minutes because I'm going to tell you about who this podcast is for, how it came to be completely unexpectedly, and the lesson in that for all of us, and what you're in for if you choose to stick around. And of course, while I'm at it in this very first episode, I'll tell you who I am too, because one thing I know for sure is that if you're like me, you don't spend much time listening to podcasts with people who you don't really jive with. So whether you're drawn to someone's podcast or repelled by it or repelled by their brand or drawn to their brand, it means that they're doing their job right because they have shown you who they are, what makes them distinctly them. We are going to get into so much of that and more along the way because I really want to focus on how when we show up as ourselves, we're not going to be for everyone, and that is okay. Like on a very personal note, I've spent a lot of my life trying to be for everyone, trying to check every last box of every last list that somebody has, and just in general, wanting everyone to like me and actually thinking that I could accomplish that. So this very podcast is the manifestation of me making the very full body, heart, and mind decision that I can't really do that anymore. Because when you do, it's exhausting. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you afraid. It confuses a whole lot of people around you. And it's terrifying to wake up one day and realize that you've been sort of stuffing down who you are and what you really want and how you really want to show up from even yourself. So here I am. I am showing up as my nerdy, wacky, sometimes slightly neurotic, animated, reliable, and creative self, and I'm going to own it because that's what I want you to do too. This podcast, Content with Character, is my way of showing up as me and encouraging you to do the same. I'm Emily Aborn, a content copywriter, a podcaster, and a person who looks up the menu of each and every single restaurant she eats at before she steps foot in the door. I'm extremely passionate about empowering entrepreneurs like you to get their message and ideas out into the world in a way that's clear and draws people to work with you, people who you really want to work with too. One thing that I see and hear far too often is podcasters, coaches, consultants, small business owners, service providers, solopreneurs. They want to create more momentum in their marketing, but they feel like they're trying all these methods that don't really feel right for them, or they feel shysty, or they feel like they're showing up in a way that they don't want to. And as a result, everything in their marketing feels a little bit like they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that it's going to stick. And I watch people struggle to create content because either they don't have time, they don't know where to start, they don't know what to say, or they don't feel like that they can write. Or maybe they're overthinking it. I hear people who want visibility, but the way that they're being shown to get visible feels like really icky or disingenuous. And so these reasons and more are exactly why I am so fired up and excited to bring you this content in a new way. I really want to inspire you to take action, to experiment with some unconventional and out-of-the-box approaches when it comes to marketing and visibility and content creation. And I want to save you time, energy, and like all the headaches of overthinking when it comes to your content creation and marketing. I want you to show up fully as yourself so that you can succeed with your big ideas, whatever they are, and then go on to create even more successful big ideas. You will hear more about like the decision around the name for the show, Content with Character, in one of my first few episodes, but I actually came up with it while shoveling 40 inches of snow. Yes, you heard me right. It was 40 inches. And no, I'm not exaggerating. I live in the snow capital of New Hampshire. And my husband just so happened to be out of town. So I was shoveling all by myself. And as I was on my 10th 1000th pound of chucking this wet snow over my shoulder, I was thinking to myself, hard work builds character, Emily. Hard work builds character. And I've always had this belief, like when I'm going through a particularly difficult time, snowstorms completely excluded, but even if it feels like it totally sucks and I'm royally drowning, I always think to myself that there is going to be a lesson I can learn here, and it's going to play a role in me showing up even better or with more empathy or compassion or understanding or resilience, or maybe even gratitude for the things that are easy, right? I always remind myself that when it's over, I will have a great story to tell and probably a hefty dose of laughing at the situation, whatever it was. But we often hear that phrase, right? Hard work builds character. And while I agree that hard work and hard times really gives a depth to people like nothing else, I definitely admire a person who's done the hard work, is doing the hard work, and knows that hard work is what is needed to get to our goals. But here's what I think. I think that it's time to take the hard work out of building character in our content. And I also don't think that we always need to be stuck in hard work mode. Like if our character is only built during the hard times, our character is probably going to end up being like a grumpy character. I will share my thoughts someday soon on comfort zones, but I think that yes, hard work helps us grow and it helps us strengthen and learn. But I also think that we can have ease and flow and enjoyment when expressing ourselves, when running our businesses, and especially when creating. So much beauty comes from the times that you are creating or making something or putting something together, and it's just easy. So when it comes to marketing, visibility, content creation, entrepreneurship, I'm here to show you how it can be comfortable and also fun. Like you can laugh and it can feel like play as you show your character with the world, which, spoiler alert, that's what marketing is really all about. It's about sharing you and also what lights you up. So there you go. That's what this podcast, Content with Character, is all about. I will be showing up weekly and sharing simple, implementable ideas, implementable is a new word, by the way, for you on making it easy to create content, to tell more stories, to tell more of your stories, to write, to podcast, to repurpose, to speak on stages and in groups and manage your time and your energy and your ideas, connect with other people. Actually hit send to that email list. Put a structure and strategy around your visibility efforts, and I promise you so much more. I also will strive to keep this super relatable. For those of you who do know me, you know that I run 2 businesses of my own. I have my content copywriting business as well as She Built This, which is both a podcast and a women's entrepreneurship community. I've also run a brick and mortar retail business. I've hosted lots of events of all shapes and sizes, and I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs in different industries. So I am right here alongside you. I see you, I hear you, I understand you. I am you. I am learning, growing, creating, and working on the same kinds of things that you're working on in your business. Despite having been in business 5 years and having built a successful podcast already, it's also really important to realize for you as a listener that I am literally starting this from scratch. Like I'm starting over. I'm starting fresh. This is not even a pivot. I didn't change the direction of my show. It is brand spanking 100% new. And I had to refresh my memory and like figure out how to start a podcast again. But I tell you what, I knew from the bottom of my heart, from the top of my idea bursting brain to the tips of my pinky toes, that I had to create this podcast for you because I believe in you getting your ideas out into the world clearly and effectively and in a way that feels true and good to you. So we are in this together, and I'm really excited that you're on the ground floor with me because I have a very, very, very good feeling about how we're going to grow on this journey together. If you've heard this and you're like, yes, Emily, sign me up, I'm in, to stick around with me, please make sure that you are subscribed to the show on your podcast player, the one that you're using right now. And I would also love to invite you to share this with a friend or a business colleague who you know who will benefit from the show as well. It's more important than ever, in my opinion, to help one another get our messages out there. And sharing this podcast is just one way for you to be that piece of that ripple effect and maybe inspire somebody else in that too. If you have questions for me or you ever want to reach out, I personally respond to all of my emails, and I'll remind you of this many, many times, but I am just an email away, emily@emilyaborn.com. I would also love to connect with you on Instagram, which you can find me there at Emily Aborn, and I'll make sure the links for everything you need at all times are in the show notes. And with that, I will talk to you soon. I can't wait to dive in on all this stuff with you and have some fun.